I'm Myles Pearson, and I'm a Paralympic Wheelchair Rugby player. When I was younger, I didn't look at myself and see I had a disability. I was convinced I was going to play for Liverpool. So my disability is called arthrogryposis, which is quite a mouthful, but it basically means that my joints are bent. Internally I'm fine, apart from obviously my voice, but you know, it's not really. I can still walk a little bit, I can still do pretty much what I need to do to live. And you know, it won't get any worse. So I'm pretty happy. What you see is what you get with me.
Well, when he was born, we didn't know he was going to be disabled until the day he was born. So it was all a bit of a shock. And he spent much of his very early years in and out of hospital, having lots of surgery and lots of physiotherapy and that sort of thing. But he was always a very determined young child. When you are having a child, it's the last thing you imagine. There's going to be problems as severe as there were, and he spent maybe a week in hospital. We didn't really even know if he would survive, and there was lots of complications.
When you start to hit your teens, then there was a lot of bullying, and there was a lot of sort of name calling and isolation, that they just isolate me all the time. So I guess that was difficult, because all you really want to do is kick a football about. I used to wear like calipers that used to enable me to walk, and as I got older, you sort of grow out of them. You have to get, you know, new ones, and it just became a really painful experience. So I just decided in the end to go full-time in the chair.
So he started playing tennis, and I believe that within a very short space of time, within maybe 2 or 3 years, he was 21st in the world for his age, within his sort of spectrum of playing.
Stopped tennis because I found rugby, and rugby offered me something that I got in football and that I wanted in football, and that was that team camaraderie, that banter, you know. And it was just that word natural creeps up when I talk about sport, and rugby was a natural thing for me to do.
Well, he used to come along with his mum, and he wasn't the Myles Pearson that you see now. He was quite shy. He was quiet, but he started to come more and more out of himself the longer he was with us. The more he got to learn about wheelchair rugby, and you could see how much he loved it, then he started to become the Myles Pearson that's a little bit more of a show motor.
I actually went to a trial. I didn't hear anything back for a year, so I thought I'd messed it up. In fact, I knew I'd messed it up. They said to me, "You're too small. Let's see how you are in a couple of years." I don't think I was really even considered for London. A year later, I got chosen to go to Florida, and there was a massive change in the squad, and there was a real opening then. And again, I was a little bit bigger, a little bit older, and ready to take, you know, GP by storm a little bit. Squads for the Paralympics then started to be announced on Channel 4 and BBC, and you saw your name up on the reel, sort of thing. And that's when it started to sink in. You're actually going to be quite a big part of this whole show.
Well, he probably spent longer doing his hair than he did actually on court. No, he was definitely an energizer of the team. He was excitable. He enjoyed the entire experience from start to finish, the build-up, the aftermath. As everyone did really, London 2012 was very special. He performed on court when he needed to perform, but he enjoyed the elements outside as well. He took the whole experience and made it the Myles Pearson roadshow.
I think one of my best memories is when it was at the 2012 Paralympics and they came out onto court in front of 10,000 plus people to play their first game against USA, and the whole place erupted.
I remember being in the tunnel and we were lined up right next to the US guys, and the amount of like all sorts of words coming from the US and us back to them, and I remember you could see sort of the crowd through the tunnel, and I was right at the back so I could only really hear them, but the noise was incredible. And then when the guy on the tannoy said, you know, this is GB, this is USA, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. You can't describe that feeling, but it was a really sort of special moment.
I met Myles about 3 or 4 years before the London 2012 Paralympics, so since about 2009. Milo's great. I don't think I've ever met anyone like Milo, and I don't think I'll ever meet anybody else like Milo in the future. No, he's a great guy. He's got a massive heart, massive heart. He comes across with all his male bravado, but he's just deep down, he's a really nice bloke.
It's been one of those tournaments where it's been really up and down, and this season is sort of, it's all come together this weekend. It's all come together this weekend, and it's just massive. And we can really start to build on this now for next season. I always said that if they got promoted, I'd never leave, because I think we're starting now, and you will see the real start of Sharks. You know, we've got some great up and coming players, Matt Bonney, Paddy, Pete and Rich had fantastic league weekends, and everyone's growing, and it'll become less and less about me and Aaron, and it'll become more and more about Paddy, Matt, Pete and Rich, and that only excites me. And yes, I could have gone back to Crash, but why leave something that exciting?
He's such a technical minded player. He picks up things I'd never pick up, and you know, I'm sure the team wouldn't have done as well as it had, and we wouldn't be getting promoted if it wasn't for the help that Milo's given us in training this season.
He's a dream. In fact, he does more coaching me than I do of him. He's my technical conscience. He's been great to have around. He's certainly taught me a lot, and he's a good leader on the court, because he's basically leading by example.
Being so young coming into the sport and how much he grew so early on, there's still so much potential. It's easy to forget that he's been around for a long time, and we all feel he has, because he's a character that everyone remembers, but he is still so young, so there is so much more to see. He's like still in the prime of his years, and there's a whole lifetime in wheelchair rugby for him.
I mean, this guy is a very good player. He's a special player. He knows the game inside out. He loves the game to bits, and it's just any boundary that he sets, I think, is going to be the thing that stands in his way.
I'll be gutted if he's not there. If he's not there, it'll be saying that he's cocked up. So I hope he keeps training hard, does all the right things, and I'm sure he'll be there. Yeah, in my opinion, he's one of the best defensive 1.5s in the world, if not the best. And that's massive, considering now he's still only young, and he's definitely got a few more Paralympics left in him. I mean, in London, that was just the tip of the iceberg, chasing people around like Riley Batt and things, and you know, that's unbelievable when he was only 18 at the time.
That's the next step, be the 2016 Paralympics in Rio, which is only, as the time we're speaking now, it's only about 18 months away. I think that would be great. And to keep playing at a higher and higher level. I think Myles has got a lot more potential than we're seeing from him, and I think he could be one of the top sports people. I want to see him get a medal. That's what I would love to see.
So I always get back up. It's actually misspelt. They missed off the A. But no, I suppose that was a London 2012 thing, and every time I look down at it whilst I'm playing rugby, it's a sort of pick me up almost. And it explains. It's me in a nutshell. Really, you can't keep me down.